It looks like we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Good evening. Happy November 3rd, 2021. It is I, your girl, Christian Jackson, the daddy issues expert. I'm a licensed therapist in South Carolina, and I serve women who are recovering from emotional trauma. Okay, so you may be wondering if you're new to the couch crew because I done got up to 1,500 followers on Instagram. I'm really excited. And if you're new here to my Facebook page, at Couch with Christian or at Couch with Christian on Instagram, on YouTube, welcome to my channel. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. You have a chance there in the link in my bio on Instagram. And I believe I've also linked some stuff here to my Facebook as well. If you are here with me live, hey Starkey, I see you, sis. Thanks for coming in. Chime in. I get a lot more replays as we are talking about, like, as the week goes on, and I'm really excited to engage with you guys at that point too. But if you're here live, shout me out, let me know what's up. I want to introduce myself. Like I said, I'm the daddy issues expert. I wrote books on how to address emotional trauma, aka daddy issues. Here they are. You can find them at couchwithchristian.com. The link is in my bio and Instagram. And I'm going to go ahead and put it up here on Facebook and YouTube so that you guys can know where to find me, more about me. Go back and check my vibe. Check out my content on my Instagram video, I guess is what it's called now. It used to be IGTV. You can also go back and see on my Facebook page, I usually post the most recent Wellness Wednesday and pin it at the top. And of course, you can go to my YouTube channel, Couch with Christian, and see all of my archived YouTube lives because I'm streaming all of those places at one time. Now, what are daddy issues? I laid that out for you in the books, right? So this is where you're going to get the juice, the crux of it all, right? I tell my story and those that I've kind of collected after treating women for about 10 years in individual therapy, and didn't realize that I was in need of some help myself. So I went to therapy, did a lot of journaling, got really excited that I was finding some healing of my own, right? It's an ongoing journey, but I was able to journal out some things and it turned into my book. So I laid out what I see professionally. So there's some clinical language in here because I made up a cluster of symptoms and I'm calling daddy issues. It's based on reactive attachment disorder and separation anxiety. And this is where you can actually see yourself when you're thinking about, okay, I keep popping off of my partner and I keep yelling at my kids. Where is this coming from? Why is it that I'm triggered in this way? I am taking the lens of daddy issues because there is so much anxiety that our body is like under and stress that it's under that it's got to go somewhere. And sometimes it comes out as I'm just pissed off, or I don't trust these hoes, or I don't trust women because me and women don't get along. I hear that a lot from women because there's mommy issues that we have to talk about too, right? So the point is for us to look at how our families of origin impact our values because we have shaped different worldviews based on them. We make decisions this way, right? And so I'm sharing how daddy issues in particular impacted me. In particular, for me, it was identity issues, abandonment, rejection issues. There was a lot of insecurities. And so I just kind of put it all together and curated what I've literally been doing since I've been practicing therapy with women, right? So I just kind of said, there's a pattern, there's a trend here. And I'm going to give you a chance in each chapter to see how daddy issues, according to Christian Jackson, impact dating. There's a chapter on dating, which I'm going to get to some more exciting things related to that later. You can get a chapter on friendship, marriage, motherhood. How do daddy issues impact all of your relationships? Where does that come from and what is it rooted in? So we got to look at attachment, right? So once you get that foundation, the book is going to outline a lot of great things for you to be able to see yourself and get this practical tools, because I'm never going to leave you without tips and tricks that are evidence-based things that you can do that I've been doing in therapy for years with women that I've treated, right? And so I put it all together for you in this book. You can go back and get to know more about me. And like I said, the content that I've already have archived on my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The workbook expands upon what's already here. In between each chapter, you're going to get a chance to answer self-reflection questions. You're going to get the same opportunity here with even more activity. So buying the pair is really a good idea because I like to say it's about 1.5 years of therapy if you pace yourself and you're going at a good rate where you are taking your time. Because let me tell you something. I don't want you to read my books back to back like that. It was triggering for me to write. Okay. And so please pace yourself and give yourself grace because you're not really sure what's going to come up when you read about the friendship chapter and what type of friend you are. If you're the gold digger and you're like, wait a minute, she's touching my stuff because I mean, there's a promiscuous side of me. And then she called me clingy. What's this? It's bringing up some stuff for me. And if these are some languages that you are struggling with, please know I have been all these women that I'm talking about. I outline where these plights are coming from as it relates to daddy issues and how to address them. Because my goal with the daddy issues movement is to destigmatize conversations about mental health, conversations about daddy issues, and erase the stigma and the shame that are associated with the latter, daddy issues. When you think about that word, it's not really that comfortable, right? So that is what the daddy issues movement is about. So I like to say that I have transcended daddy issues or I'm in recovery because my daddy issues kicked up with the conversation with my husband last week. So they don't go away, right? But you will be able to say after reading my books, really engaging in the content that I have and things I'm going to be offering here soon, that you have a roadmap as to how to address the things when they come up. Because you're not going to come back here and say, Christian Jackson said I got daddy issues and this is why I can pop off at my partner. No, we are women who take accountability and responsibility for the fact that I've recognized my trigger and I know how to address it. And so that is who I am in the movement. And I want to move into story time, as I like to say, right? I haven't been as active on my social media lately because I have been really adamant about how to get infrastructures in place for Couch with Christian in my business so that you can have more sustainable and foundational, strong framework so that my work is lasting, right? It's evolving in front of your eyes. If you watch me on social media, on my Instagram, especially where I'm most active, you'll be able to see not only am I a licensed therapist, been doing this for a long time, but they don't teach us in therapy how to be business women. So I have, by the grace of God, been able to join Dr. Ajetta Robinson's private practice boot camp. And I'm supposed to be there right now, but I needed to get some stuff out for you guys. So I may pop in later. She has been an amazing coach for how I can restructure some things so that you guys can get the best of me as a therapist, as someone who is bringing you content that I know has already changed lives. But, how do you get your business in front of people and how do you get the word out about the work that we're doing? Because I know already from the review that you guys have so graciously given me that, it's working and it's helpful, whatever I'm putting out. But how can we get more eyes on it? I'm going to need your help and also some infrastructures I'm putting in place. And I'm so excited to be offering some things. You may already know that I've been hinting at a couple of things I have coming down the pipeline, and I will share those things at the end. But back to my story. Since I'm in the private practice boot camp right now, I am meeting very constantly. If I'm not live in the meeting, I'm watching videos to make sure that I am getting what I need from my business. And if you're on Instagram right now, I can't see my comments. So I see you're here. Thanks for coming. I can't engage because I can't see you guys, but thank you. I see you here on Facebook too. So I have been watching all the videos, all the things in this private practice boot camp. And today I was able to get a question answered for myself about how to really come up with a strategy that makes sense so that you all know that I'm here. The couch crew, y'all know where I'm at, right? Like you engage with me a lot. You watch and like and engage and have impressions, a new business word I learned from social media. Like you guys are here, but how can I get to the masses that are even larger and go beyond? And that is a question I had today as I'm trying to launch what I am repurposing from the content that I already have. So if you're already a part of the Couch Crew, Couch Crew is a name, by the way, that I so lovingly call my supporters of the Couch for Christian movement. Thank you guys. So if you already are part of the Couch Crew, you know that I took a stab at leading a group based on my workbook, right? The workbook is chock full of stuff, and I got it down to about 8 weeks of content so that every week, the 6 women who joined me in the spring, we met virtually on a Zoom call or on a Google Meet call, and we went through the material, and it was great, right? But it was so much information. It was great, and there was so much information. Both of those things are true. And so I wanted to make sure that I was getting it down to a more digestible level because it is so much and a more affordable level. And I see you here, guys, here on Facebook. You can go ahead and drop a comment in there if you want me to see who you are, or YouTube, whatever that is. I want you guys to know that I want you to be able to receive the information at a pace that makes sense. And so I'm repurposing the content into online courses, right? I have been asking you guys what you want to see, how you want to see it. And thank you guys for regularly engaged with me and telling me what you want to see. Please continue to do that. And so if you are on Instagram and you follow me, then you can click the link in my bio and you will find something that says Dating with Daddy Issues link. If you want to take that survey, it takes you to a Google Drive link and you can tell me what you want to see in this upcoming Dating with Daddy Issues link. So today in my coaching call with my cohort, my Generation 6 cohort, if you will, I've been with amazing, dope people, first of all, who are all wanting to have the same goal of, making sure that they are taking their expertise and their specialties to their communities in an effective way so they can really support the people that they want to see. And it's such an honor to be around people who have that same goal. So today I got to ask a question in that group of people, and Dr. Ajeta took us on a journey of our own to really consider how we can engage effectively with the people that we serve. And it was really great for her to give me insight as to what I need to address. And tonight, I want to take a step back from talking about the Dating with Daddy Issues online course that I will be telling you more about how to get into that later. But I really want to talk about what is right in front of my face as a professional. Every year, there is a shift in the air when the winter comes, when the fall comes, right? You guys may have guessed it if you're here online. Let me know in the chat live. Um, what do daddy issues look like around the holidays? And y'all, my book has been dropped for over a year. I dropped it July 2020. I had never really thought about addressing that. So tonight, Wellness Wednesdays is going to be me taking a step back tonight, right? And I'm going to let you know what's on the pipeline for the rest of the month because I got special guests for the rest of the month on Wellness Wednesday. And I can't wait to tell you about it. But let me take a step back. Let's set ourselves up for success, right? I'm going to give you a sneak peek into a couple of tips that I'm going to offer in a free webinar, masterclass, call it what you want, but I'm going to start putting out invitations. I've already set up the invitation on my Zoom because I want you guys to engage with me live to an invite only free webinar where I'll be going into more detail about what daddy issues can look like around the holidays. And tonight I just want to give you a sneak peek of some things that have just been coming up on my mind. So, tonight, what do you do? How do you overcome daddy issues during the holidays? That is our Wellness Wednesdays. Now, if you're new to the couch crew, please note I have kids and I'm really hungry and a husband I haven't seen all day. So I won't be on here long. But I do want to give you guys some things to think about. Daddy issues in the holidays. How do you address them? How do you overcome them? So, tip number one, we need to look at our triggers. Okay. And so there is basically a template I follow when I am in therapy and I'm getting to know someone on an individual basis in that setting. We are doing our treatment planning after I've done their assessment, learn more about them. And one of the first things we need to do is figure out what is it that has you feeling so big, so intensely, so heavily, right? So if you notice that you're anxious, it's likely something that you've been dealing with for years, for months consistently, and just have ignored. That's what we do, right? Because our bodies are in autopilot. And unfortunately, because of trauma especially, our bodies are used to the pain and the suffering that comes with the memories and all the different triggers that are associated with these memories. We just kind of go for it. It's like we've adjusted to the pain. It's like when you break your toe and you're just like, I'm just going to walk a little funny for a while. But some of us have been walking funny for 20, 30 years. And I treat these people daily. You hear me? And so, how do you even address that? You got to know what it is that puts you in that mood. Like it's very likely that if you have been feeling this anxiety or this depression, then it's something that has compiled enough and your body is like, sis, Christian, you can't take it no more. Okay. And I was talking earlier about this. By the time it reaches us cognitively here in our frontal lobe, our body has been like begging us to take care of it. So, do you notice that when you are triggered, you may notice that your stomach may drop, you may have butterflies, or you may have a tightness in your chest or a heavy tension on your shoulders? That's called anxiety. And if it gets bad enough, then it could turn into something like a panic attack, right? But how can we address that? You take a step back. So, in relation to daddy issues, what I have personally experienced are things like the abandonment, the rejection, the hole in my life because my dad and I are not speaking. So around the holidays, I do think about my father. He's alive. He lives 20 minutes from me, but we don't have a relationship. And during Christmas, although I have my own family and it's great, I can't help but wonder what it could be like if my father were here with his grandkids. It sucks. Right? I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm okay with that, and because I'm the daddy issues expert, quote unquote, that that is something that I'm okay with, and I don't think about it every year. So I know how that this is coming up for me. I need to prepare. So this is what I want this conversation in this masterclass to be about here in a few weeks, and I'm going to give you that information. So what are your triggers? Are your triggers looking down at the dinner table and seeing where daddy used to sit at the head of the table? Right? Maybe you've made like a really nice tradition so that the head of the table is empty, which I've heard before. And that's where Papa used to sit, right? He's transitioned, he's an ancestor now. Whatever your relationship, like, is that going to be a trigger for you during the holidays? What is that going to look like when you are with your family and now who carves the turkey? Is that a trigger for your daddy issues? The fact that you didn't have one, don't have one, is your stepfather or father figure just a constant reminder that you don't know who your daddy is and you wish that you could spend time with that other part of the family that you don't know who they are? What are these triggers for you? And if because we need to know these things in order to treat it. So I really want you to take inventory. You likely know what they are. If you sit with yourself and answer this question for you, you may know what's tied to the fact that during this time of year, I mean, it gets cold outside. I'm not going outside and getting my vitamin D. I'm not really pumping, moving the endorphins. My partner is triggering me because, I mean, my father used to do these things, or I wish my dad will engage with me the way my partner does, and then our anger and hurt and disappointment is redirected. What is the trigger for you? Okay, and how are you going to deal with it? So that's the first step for really any change you want to make when it comes to wanting to feel more comfortable. What's got you feeling this certain type of way? The second tip I want to give you, besides knowing your triggers, as we are talking about how to overcome daddy issues in the holiday, daddy issues and the holiday blues, I guess I would call it, is to find opportunities to recreate memories. And so, one of the really great tips that I've heard from some grief counselors and some experts, especially when it comes to traumatic grief and just trauma in general, is that we have a chance to rewrite the story. And that is a lot of what I do in individual therapy with people. It's so fun once they get past like the hurt and the pain. We've talked about some of the details and they've really started to understand what trauma looks like for them specifically. Then we can talk about how they can experience, for example, like for the purposes of tonight, Christmas without daddy. What can we do, right? So for myself, again, making this an example, I have had great practice with this by now, but I look forward to seeing my father-in-law every year. He's the sweetest guy ever, right? And I love that my husband is here and he's an amazing engaged father. And so those things are helping me to recreate experiences that I know down the line will help me look forward to the holidays more, right? Yeah, there's just like a lingering feeling that my father's not there, but when it's not taking over as much, and it hurts a little less, that's how you know the progress is happening. I really want you all to understand the impact of trauma that it has on our body. There's a really great book called The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. If you have not read it, it's amazing. The Body Keeps the Score really kind of helped me with the perception of how deeply rooted this thing goes. Our body is going to know that we are triggered and uncomfortable before we cognitively know those things. And so, how is your body responding? Are you sleeping? Are you eating? Okay, we got to look at the how deeply the trauma has affected our ability to function normally. And so what you can do for your body is train it. There's this thing called neuroplasticity. It's like the nerdy part of me that I love talking about this part. Our brains can learn new tricks, which tell our bodies what to do in certain situations. So instead of our bodies tensing up when it comes to, let's say, seeing a dog after we were bitten when we were little and it was really traumatic for us, maybe we can reintroduce safe experiences with dogs. That's what I've done before with animal assisted therapy. It works really well. For those of you who may have emotional support animals, we can recreate experiences and basically rewire our brain and teach our body something new. So we're replacing that physical response that we've had that are related to those traumatic experiences with new ones. So if you have issues with your family, and you know what your triggers are, which just literally just may be the holidays. How does your body respond once you know the trigger? Maybe it's like riding up to grandma's house where you know Big Mom gonna be there, she cooking everything, and you're like, okay, I got to breathe before I go. I just know how my body's gonna respond and what this feels like. That's your trigger, knowing the trigger. What is your body doing? And how can you plan ahead to recreate a better experience? So maybe before you go, you have a ritual with your own family or a ritual with yourself so that you are addressing whatever your body physically needs before you know the anxiety may rise up, right? Maybe you're having a smaller get together with your own family and friends, or like a Friendsgiving, which I love that tradition that's been kind of popular the last couple of years, so that your body is learning during the holidays I actually can have good memories. That is literally one of the simplest ways and the most it's a very subtle way, but a very powerful way to reteach your body that good things can happen around this time of year. You can be okay, and that is something that I think is really reinforcing for someone who may be thinking from their trauma lens. And I've talked about this on previous videos. I really want you to get into my previous content. Well, I am kind of breaking down the brain and trauma brain and how we flip the lid when we're triggered for our things. That's really important when it comes to addressing any kind of situation that will rock our world, right? Because if it's powerful enough, we still sit with it, and our bodies are responding the way they do because they literally think. Our brain is telling your body, alert, alert. You don't want to feel that pain no more. You don't want to feel like you did when you were abandoned and rejected. Now that my stomach is dropping and I gave you that signal, like that's what your body is telling you, because all it remembers is the actual threat. It's like your body's having a flashback before you even really physically know it. And so we talk about red flags a lot, right? The red flag is going to tell you, sis, you need to take care of this thing. So what is that trigger? How can you link it to what your body feels like so that you can know how to recreate that experience so that you have a safer go about the holiday, right? There is something called the seasonal depression. Some people will call like the winter blues. And literally around this time of year, maybe a little bit earlier than November, it's fall season. And so literally from fall all the way up until the springtime, people will be sad that same span of the year every year, because there are things that may have happened during that time. And when you really kind of get in the nitty gritty of it all, and I do these assessments and meet these people, then it's really not that hard to find a traumatic event that might have happened during that time. The last tip I have for you tonight about overcoming daddy issues, or at least addressing and becoming aware of how your daddy issues may look during the holidays, is to really have someone to hold you accountable during this time. Who is It's like the buddy system. Your homegirl may know that, okay, now sis, every time this time of year comes and you hope for your daddy to call, like you 5 years old and he doesn't, I mean, I know that how you act. So when I call, please answer, respond to my text, knock on the door. When I knock on the door, answer the door. You may have those people who know how this time of year feels for you. So how can you recreate experiences with this particular friend or family member who knows how you may be dealing with this time of year? It's okay to enforce or enlist help, right, with people who may know you. And so, what I really want to empower you to do is to reach out and talk about the things that are hard. I'm in a couple of group chats. I have some really great close friends, and we check in regularly with each other. And sometimes we may say stuff like, girl, I didn't even come on here today because I didn't want to bring the mood down. And that is just that mentality that says, like, we've somehow been invalidated in our history that says, oh, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. And I really want you to tap into that feeling. Who would know you best to say, during this time, Christian, you told me that the last Christmas that you had with your dad, like you hold on to that because you feel like that's something that's healthy to do and stay in that memory, instead of looking forward to your own family. Who's going to call you out so that they remind you to do the things like face your triggers, knowing what they are, and helping you recreate memories? What is that going to look like for you? And so you may not call it daddy issues. I've been learning in the boot camp that I referenced earlier that you may not identify what I call daddy issues as daddy issues, right? So I really am going to try to get better at using language that makes more sense to you. And I mean, that could help. I could do that by your help. Like, you let me know what daddy issues means to you, what it feels like for you, what resonates with you the most. And if you look back on my IG feed, I do have like a grid where you can see all the different symptoms, right? And a lot of the things that the women say to me that I do treat, who have daddy issues, are saying things to me like, I can't trust my man. I'm going through his phone all the time. I don't like the way it feels because I was cheated on in my last relationship and I just can't trust him. Or it's really hard for me to feel safe with my partner because he doesn't help me feel that way. Or my kids are really kind of taking me back to a place and I don't know what this looks like. All of those things could be related to daddy issues or the person who taught you those things in the first place. I've been asked to write mommy issues a lot, and I am trying to think about how I can incorporate that because I found that I have issues with mom too. There are certain things that you may resent your mom for or wish she was there for. I hear a lot of that, especially in the Black community among moms and daughters. So if I'm not using the right language, what is it that you resonate with when I'm talking about daddy issues? When I'm spreading it out and showing you what that looks like, maybe you had a father, you were a daddy's girl, and you had your grandfather raise you, your uncle raise you, who was very active. You had a father figure, but didn't realize that the missing quote unquote component was your actual biological father. Not because you missed the bond, but because everyone else around you or people that you knew were things you're seeing on your TV set, shows the American dream, and you're like, oh gosh, like I kind of wish I would have had that, or maybe my life would be different. Not that you regret anything, but I wonder what that was like. And if you sit and tap into it, maybe you'd find that there are some things that, you kind of wonder about. And those are conversations that I have a lot with women who are not even knowing have daddy issues. What would you call it? I want you to be empowered and give you that space to call it yourself because hands down, the main goal I have is for you to have more conversations about your mental health with the people that you find to be safe. Okay. Now, I feel like I'm yelling now because the heat in my room here, my sunroom has come on. So I really hope that you guys can hear me. I'm going to go turn it off. Just give me 1 second. You guys see my pretty picture back there? Now, because this is a really important part. I don't want anyone to miss this. So, as you guys know, I'm wrapping up Wellness Wednesdays. Per usual, I like to keep it about 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is open up the Daddy Issues and Dating course. Black Friday is the plan. What I am learning is that the plan may change, and you guys have been seeing me and rolling with me and being so supportive during this change. But I really want to offer something like new and free. I give a lot of things away free. I am here just about every Wednesday, a couple times a month, giving all the tips and tricks and the blogs and all the things. But I don't mind, because I know that there's so much more that you could get once you kind of engage with content, self-paced and live with me anyway. And so I really want to offer a webinar where we can expand upon what family looks like during the holidays. Let me know in the chat, DM me if that's something that you're interested in. I'll be sending out invites. If you want to join the email list, go to my website, wait about 5 seconds, and you can sign up for the email list. I'm really excited about that. That is coming down the pipeline. So keep your eyes peeled, follow me, see what I got going on. The rest of this month, you guys, is as a way to promote and help you see different perspectives of what daddy issues could look like and hear from more than just me. I would like to announce the lineup for Wellness Wednesday the rest of November 2021 into December 1st, which I actually might save that one because listen, I got a very, very special guest on December 1st. I think that's a Wednesday. So I'm really excited about that. So for November, next week, November 10th, we will be joined by Jessica Van. If you are a couch crew, part of the couch crew, and if you are a visionary who's the name of her supporters and followers in her audience, then you know Jessica Van. She's amazing. She's in Vision Counseling, in Vision Counseling on Instagram. You can go check her out. She is a sex and relationship expert, and she has been doing a lot of really great recent work and having discussions about what support moms need. Right? They all go together. And so I love the way Jessica pulls together the language and the perception and perspectives and opens up in my mind every conversation I have with her. So I'm bringing her back to talk about what we talk about all the time because she's a personal dear friend of mine. But we want to bring the topic of daddy issues and sex up with you because that is a thing on every part of the spectrum. And I'm hoping to have a conversation with her that will open up the eyes for you. So next week, and I'll be announcing it later this week and reminding you, daddy issues and sex. Now, in the spirit of the actual online course, Daddy Issues and Dating, I have roped in so graciously, and I'm so thankful for you guys, 3 different relationship coaches and dating coaches, right? I bring on therapists all the time. I really want to give you guys a good range of professionals that you could have access to. Maybe therapy is not your thing, right? Maybe you want to engage with a life coach, someone who has a different eye, a different way to kind of support you, right? So Troy, Cassandra, and Yancy will be here with me on 11/17. And I'm really excited about what they can bring to the table as far as what they are hearing from the people they are supporting in the dating world. Okay. So we have a lot to look forward to for Wellness Wednesdays. You won't have to hear from just me, which I'm really excited about. And I can't wait for you guys to engage. So I will be sharing the flyer. I will be inviting you guys. Hopefully you guys would join me here live 8 p.m. on both 11/10, November 10th, 2021 at 8 p.m. right here on Facebook and YouTube only. So Instagram, you got to make sure you know where to find me on YouTube and Facebook, okay? Because I'll be broadcasting to both of those platforms live with Jessica next week, talking about daddy issues and sex. And then we're going to get into daddy issues and dating and just kind of get into the nitty gritty of what people are seeing, the dating coaches. And I'm really excited to give you guys that. So if you have questions that you want to send in beforehand, if you see this prior to either one of those dates, send me a private message and I'll bring it up to the experts so that they can give their feedback and kind of get prepared. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. I see you popping in and out. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's Wellness Wednesdays. I have dropped a lot of different things. Don't worry, I will remind you as they come down the pipeline. I will see you on the timeline. I have been Christian Jackson, the daddy issues expert. Y'all have a great night.